Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way galaxy. That's about all we have to say about that. My name's Brian Engelman, and this is Blake Walley, and today is Thursday, June 22nd, 2023, and this is the Agree to Disagree show on the new American media, because the old American media has failed you. Yes, they are trash. They are propagandists. They are proven liars. Stop listening to them. On the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episode, the neon signs in Las Vegas started coming to life and walking off of the billboards and causing havoc. And then, what was it? Paul Anka came in and played a song called "Just Don't Look, Just Don't Look." So just don't look at the lying legacy media. Find the new American media and find us in all of the places, especially our new Rumble channel, youtube.com/the new American media, and Spotify. Find us the Agree to Disagree show. Follow Blake. He's at TV's Blake Walley on Twitter, and the Next Level News with his website. Blake, welcome, sir. Our intro, our thumbnail rather, for today's show. It shows 10 years ago today we became friends on Meta. A decade ago we connected on Facebook. How about that? How about them apples?
Yep, back when you could actually, when it was still actually good, before they really, dropped the hammer with the heavy censorship, especially during 2016. But yeah, we've been working together for a while. And it's a picture from the Bundy Ranch, it's from my old condo in Las Vegas before we went to the Bundy Ranch. That was 2014. But we've been doing this longer than that. I don't know if that's the first time that we worked together in person. We did plenty of shows before then, but I don't remember if we were actually on video before that. But
yeah, I don't know.
Jody, welcome.
Yeah, welcome to everybody. Welcome to everybody. But we only have you for a limited time today, right?
Exactly. That's what. But just let's jump to it.
Give us an update on this submarine. This has been a very interesting story. A submarine lost. So many pieces of information coming out. Wow.
So many pieces. What a story. It looks like there's pieces of debris all around, or in a special area that they've been searching for this sub down by the Titanic, and that is probably the remnants. We don't know yet. Nothing is finalized, but as far as they've been gone a long time, and just kind of have to expect the worst, and it's pretty tragic and awful. Not a good way to go. Although, actually, if they were down at those depths, the pressure would have crushed them almost instantly. So they hopefully didn't suffer too much if they are in fact gone. The worst case would be if they are just slowly running out of air, which is also a possibility, which is why they've been scrambling for a rescue. So an underwater robot found a debris field, and this is out of Gateway Pundit, but you'll find tons of outlets reporting the very same thing. So yeah, down 12,500 feet at the bottom of the ocean with the wreckage of the Titanic. And that's it. We haven't heard anything for a long time, and it's been a big cluster, trying to scramble the right personnel to go find these guys. And what was weird is that one of the pilot's wife, I guess, is a descendant of a couple who actually died on the original ship back in 1912, wife of Stockton Rush. So, interesting little tidbit of info as reported by the New York Times. Wendy Rush, the great-great-granddaughter of Isidore Straus and his wife Ida, according to archival records. So, visiting that relic at the bottom of the ocean. And unfortunately, our technology hasn't got to that point yet. There is tremendous pressure under the ocean. And unfortunately, looks like we may have lost a few of the people. We can only expect the worst, hope for the best at this point. That's all I have, Brian.
Yeah, there's a lot to say about this story, and if we had more time to get into it, we would. But I'll just quickly go out of touch on a couple of key points here. It kind of reminds me. It harkens back to this meme that comes to mind here. In 1920, we took children out of the coal mines. In 2020, the most popular video game on the market is Minecraft. The children yearn for the mines. And we're talking about these people on the Titanic and their descendants of the Titanic, and the children yearn for the Titanic, I suppose. I mean, wow. Okay, so that's a weird component. There's
It's
video
one
of
of the
this
most
guy.
fascinating stories of the whole planet. Really, was the story of the Titanic, and then you get into the conspiracy theories of like some of the bankers being on there that were against the old Federal Reserve, sent to a watery grave. There's conspiracies and fascination.
But isn't the main conspiracy these days that it was an iceberg that took it down? Isn't that the main conspiracy? Isn't it more obvious that people were put on there, certain heads of state and certain people got off of the ledger and removed themselves from the path, and that this was a detonation? This was a definite takedown. This was not an accident. This wasn't a iceberg. I don't know. I guess is the James Cameron version of the events, is that accepted as the reality of it, or is it just accepted that, Creature from Jekyll Island, there were people who were kind of not as in favor of the new banking cartel, so they were removed? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things to consider about the Titanic. What do you think the most accepted version of that story is? You think it's just that they hit an iceberg?
Yeah, I think that's what most people would say. It was just an accident, and it was old tech.
Maybe.
Weren't ready for all that. Could have been, without getting into the going down those
weeds.
rabbit holes.
Yeah, but it's
Bottom of the
go down the rabbit holes on your own, please, because it's a very
Yes.
interesting story.
For another day. Yeah.
But yeah, the head of this company, he was bragging about, we're cutting corners and we're not using materials that are safe, and I think we can use this. They're saying it imploded. It was not reinforced. It was a really bad idea. And I'm just saying, why didn't they send this down unmanned? Like, did you have to physically be inside of it and you were bolted on the inside? Even if something went wrong, you didn't have a pack to like burst out of this thing and escape. Like, you were sending yourself to a watery tomb, and he was bragging about not putting any 50-year-old white guys on it because that's not inspiring. And it's like, God, this weird war against middle-aged white people. It's just, it's a war on competency as well. I mean, you see it in the Obama administration. Sorry, the third Obama administration, Biden administration right now. The phrase diversity hires. You're not getting the best people for the job. You're not getting qualified people. You're getting people that check ESG checklist, going down the list. You're not really getting a meritocracy. You're getting something really weird and racist and dangerous, really dangerous. To avoid competency is the number one factor when choosing who you're going to put in charge of product development and safety and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a fascinating story. We'll keep following it. They're saying they found the debris field there. So anyway, I don't know. Nothing else to add in that one, I suppose. So let's get into the topics of the day. Blake, what else? Do you agree or disagree that Adam Schiff censuring, 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 Adam Schiff being censored is his bare minimum punishment? Do you agree with that?
Yes, I definitely agree with that. I think that's just the beginning. It's a nice gesture, maneuver. They got that done, so that was good. They had to revote it this week. And this is actually the headline from this article out of the Federalist. And Brian, we've been discussing this for a while, and I think he should be sued into oblivion and tried for treason. It is time for an investigation. He fabricated a monumental political scandal, and he is, he pushed that, lied to the American people, wasted tons of man hours and millions of dollars, and undermined a sitting president, and basically, affected the election, even though he was trying to persuade everybody to believe that it was Trump and Russia that were colluding on the election. So, he's been shamed. He has been kind of stripped of power to some extent. He hasn't been expelled. He's kind of powerless. He's going to not be allowed on any committees. And it's humiliating because it only happened so many times in the last, since the inception of our country. So he is on a short list of shameful candidates. and he deserves it, but it should just start there. It is the bare minimum, and he needs to be held accountable. And so do these Democrats. It's embarrassing watching them, fight this thing. So the House votes to censure Schiff for lying about the Russian hoax, falsely claiming feds had evidence of collusion, and he was desperate on his little fishing expedition to find something to justify his efforts, but he never did. And so there it was. This will live in infamy. Brian, can you hear this?
Yes.
With 6 answering present, the resolution adopted. Without objection, the motion to consider is relayed on the table. House will be in order.
Shame, shame. So,
hold on. So who's chanting shame? The Republicans are chanting shame?
That's what it should have been, but I believe it was actually the Democrats saying shame on McCarthy. But it should be.
Are you serious?
Shame on Schiff.
They have the balls to keep lying. Their goal is to triple down, quadruple down on their lie.
Yeah,
is that for
they
real?
Kind of have to. Yeah, I think they kind of have
to. That's got to be a matchup with Game of Thrones. That cannot be real.
Oh, it's real. Here we go. Here we go. Let me find this one. Let's go back to this tab. It's from Greg Price on Twitter and also in that Federalist article I just pulled out. So Democrats throwing a 5-minute temper tantrum.
On this vote, the yeas are 213 and the nays are 209.
Yep, shame at Kevin McCarthy.
With 6 answering present, the resolution adopted. Without objection, the motion to consider is relayed on the table. House will be in order.
What a weird cult.
Yeah.
They're defending Schiff lying for 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. Is it 6+ years? How much money? How many man hours? And they're sitting there cheering him on. Like he's some kind of fucking hero or something. It's disgusting.
Well, good. You know what? Then I'm getting really excited once all of the shit starts hitting the fan. I'm getting really excited to see how they're going to react when they're all held to account. What a bunch of dirtbags. What a bunch of dirtbags. There's a lot of thoughts on this. I just wanted to share this one comes to mind. This is one of the more interesting Twitter accounts out there. That's Cat Turd, of course. Do we know who manages this account, Blake?
It's some guy in Florida. I don't remember his name. I think might have been doxxed once.
Well, it says, good morning to everyone except the weak, worthless Republican Party and their pretend victories. The only thing that really happened yesterday, the Durham hearing. The traitors in the FBI and DOJ who committed treason by setting up and framing a sitting president all have $1 million book deals or media gigs. Nothing happened to any of them. For Adam Schiff's treason for lying to the American people, leaking lies, and fabricating a fake phone call in an impeachment sham hearing, he got a mean letter with zero punishment or even a fine. Later, he laughed at the Republican Party to their faces, mocking them, and is now fundraising off of their toothless kabuki theater. And of course, as I predicted, the Republicans rage tweeted and ran to Sean Hannity to claim victory. Pathetic. Blake, I don't even really know what to say here. There's no teeth to a strongly worded letter at all. And just once again, just completely outmaneuvered. They link their arms like a rugby team, this crazy Democrat Party. They protect each other, and the Republicans I wrote them a strongly worded letter for treason. Okay. So the next steps are what? There's no next steps. We're done. Just like Hunter. Nope. Hunter's all done. We investigated everything there was to investigate. You can move along now. Nope. None of those. What was that report that came out that documented hundreds of crimes on that laptop? The Atlas report, something like that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember. I have to find
something like that. But
Kaneko the Great has been publishing a lot of that stuff.
Yeah,
it escapes me for the moment. Yeah.
So what happens next for Schiff? Nothing. Something. Hoping. We don't know. It's
the date. Less than 24 hours later, I think. So, yeah, it happened, and that was significant. But it wasn't like he wasn't concurrently sitting on like a major committee anyway, to my knowledge. So that would have been more powerful if they would have actually removed him. But Speaker McCarthy already did that. So next, I guess, maybe expulsion. Maybe they can sue him. Maybe there's an investigation. And hopefully, yeah, it should be him up for trial for treason. He has to be held accountable. He cannot sit there and get away with that.
Same with Obama. Same with Clinton.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Yep.
Either there's justice or there's not. Okay. Well, let's pause on this and move to our next topic. I guess let's jump to the cat fight here. I kind of had this other topic in it up on the docket, but you know, I mean, we're talking about Congress, and oh, geez, this is not letting me maneuver here. This is weird. So Blake, do you agree or disagree?
Yeah.
Should Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert should fight their issues out as well? Actually, this doesn't work because Elon and Zuck is the story leading into this. So here, I apologize. We're trying to do this in real time and go fast.
We can go back, yeah.
We'll tease that because let's talk about this story. What is going on with Zuckerberg and Elon Musk? Do you agree or disagree that you're looking forward to a cage match fight between these two tech giants?
You know what? I would. I absolutely would if they did. Not like I would, dream of something like that or promote it or, start something like that. Like, hey, hashtag, these guys should get in a cage and fight. But since, Zuck brought it up and Elon was like, okay, cool. It seems like it's actually serious. It's growing legs, and this might happen. I'm shocked.
Aaron Burr, sir.
What's
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's the 10 dual commandments. So you got these leaders, and they're gonna duel out in the street in the octagon inside
in Vegas. Yeah,
it's gonna be a cage match. Where did this all stem from? Zuckerberg brought it up, and Elon's like, "All right, let's go." But Zuckerberg's been training too, so that's not really fair. And he's younger.
Right. Yeah, I think he's a lot smaller than that. I don't know exactly what the dimensions are. I've heard Zuckerberg's like 5'7", and Elon is like 6'1". He's significantly bigger. But yeah, if Zuck he's been training jujitsu for a while, and he seems pretty confident and cocky, and that would give him a huge advantage, even if Elon Musk is a bigger opponent. And
yeah,
Elon has admitted.
Cocky is such a bad mental state to be in, especially when you start talking about physicality. Cockiness is the first place where you start to really let your training slip. To be honest, you're supposed
it
to
can be, but it's not like a drunken bar fight where somebody thinks they're a badass. I mean, if you've been training jujitsu and you can grapple, you can really give yourself an advantage even against a larger opponent. So this would be interesting. I mean, I have to take I'd have to take Zuck in this unless they can
really.
Get that. Yeah, because Elon's even admitted he's really not in shape at all. He throws his kids around. Remember, he was taking those pictures when he was out on was the Riviera or something out in Italy. He was out, or was it Greece or something? And he was on the boat, and they took the pictures, and he was looking a little out of shape, and people were giving him shit on Twitter. But Zuck has been training hard, and he's been out like the water skiing and stuff like that. So he's very active, and so he's taking this pretty seriously, and he's obviously very confident to throw that out. So here he goes. Zuckerberg's serious about fighting Elon Musk in a cage match. Time to bring back the dueling culture. So after Elon recently tweeted that he would be up for a cage fight with Zuckerberg, the Meta CEO. So maybe it did start with Elon after all, or maybe somebody asked him about it. He says, "Hey, I'm up for a cage match if he is." LOL. And Zuck took it. He said, "Yeah, I'll be up for it." So he posted on Instagram, and there he is in his little his battle vest. What would you call that? I'm not sure. Strange.
That's what he wears when he smokes meats. That's his meat smoking vest. What was it? So there were a couple of shows that really kind of got into this prior to the recent dust up here. I mean, you had Robot Wars. That was a series that was out. BattleBots. That was one. I mean, there's a lot of conversation out there. There's a lot of theory that both Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, they're just AI. They're robots. They're not really humans. I say this half in jest, but kind of, sort of. I mean, they both have some very strong cyborg vibes, and they're both very actively trying to push us into the metaverse and into Neuralink. And it's like, okay, well, maybe the corporation is founded, and then you create this person to come on the scene to be your spokesperson. It's your cyborg, your android, your quasi-human pretend figure, your figurehead, if you will. So yeah, I mean, BattleBots Reborn. It's a fun show, right?
I guess so, but I mean, with these two guys, that would be a lot more fun. I do like some of the UFC guilty pleasure. I haven't really tuned into it much because I don't think it's really worth the price anymore. But I certainly was a big fan back in the day, and I do enjoy high profile fights if I can, watch them if they're not just like outrageous. But no, this would be huge with two of the tech titans in the cage in Las Vegas, and think about the money that would raise and the money that could go to charity for something like that. I think it's a good idea. So,
is Elon going to start training with Rogan?
There's a lot of people saying stuff. I think I've seen Andrew Tate chime in, and Jake Shields, and Chris Minahan, I guess, who's the writer of Information Liberation, is suggesting Sam Hyde. I don't know. I'm not as familiar with the current fighters like I used to.
Well, there's Sam Hyde, and then there's Sam Seek. So you could either hide or seek. I don't know. But yeah, I think maybe the greater point here is, sure, makes for interesting banter, I suppose, but Facebook Meta is trying to launch a competitor right now to Twitter, right? Is that kind of like the underlying issue of this story, is that Zuckerberg's trying to take Twitter out in their space with a similar product. And so this is kind of the manifestation of Zuckerberg trying to battle Musk literally and, figuratively and literally at this point.
Yeah. So Meta's going to release a Twitter rival called Threads, and Musk put forward the challenge because I guess it was in response to news that Zuckerberg is launching a gayer version called Threads, which will be run through Instagram.
Hang on, hold on. Who called it that?
That's a great question, Brian.
Where did you get it from?
I'm reading it off this article, so I'll just assume it's from Chris Minahan. But I don't know where the word gayer shows up. Oh wait, here we go. I don't know if Musk would say that. He might think it, but I don't know if he'd post it because he knows that he would get a major backlash for saying gayer. But somebody came from somewhere, so I don't know. But there is I guess a rivalry going on in Silicon Valley.
Well, I have no interest to support Facebook or Meta or Instagram in any tangible way. They're the most dishonest business partners in the social media space. Close second, Google, YouTube. But these companies are awful. So, Twitter by default is okay. I don't really care for their site. I don't know. It's not my favorite. I really like Facebook, but I just don't like the company. So
I don't know why you like Facebook so much. I hate the algorithm. It's hard to find stuff. It's a mess. I love Twitter so much, and I cannot stand Facebook in the way that there's so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
No, okay. So let's bounce from that one, shall we? And to the topic that I teased a moment ago, the cat fight. Do you agree or disagree, Blake, that MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Lauren Boebert should fight out their issues as well?
I think that would be a little bit unfair. MTG is she's kind of a beast. She works out a lot. She's got her own personal trainer. I don't know
a lot of
how
deadlifting.
Tall she is, but yeah, she looks like she could throw Boebert around. Boebert's only like 5 feet or 5'1".
Well, that's why Boebert stays strapped.
Yeah.
She's
probably.
She's not slinging iron above her head. She's slinging iron on her hips.
Yeah, you got to when you're tiny like she is. So I don't think that would work. But maybe the debate. But I just, it's different because there's a totally different with the different sides. As like the leftists all join lockstep, they never seem to argue or infight, and yet the Republicans or the conservatives or that whole group, libertarians, Tea Party, whatever, they're always they're kind of going after each other. They're independent thinkers, and I respect that.
Yeah, one of the main reasons why I'm so frustrated, and I was definitely Team DeSantis. I thought he would make a great potential choice in 2028. And just breaking rank and trying to team up with the people he's teaming up with to oppose Donald Trump. It's just sad. It's just such a frustrating. If there's ever been a time to unite around somebody who's been framed and unfairly attacked, maligned, impeached, charged, legally threatened with lifetime imprisonment. I mean, the time now is to back and fully defend former President Donald Trump, 100%. And the fact that DeSantis is, like you said, breaking rank and infighting, it's just like, why are you wasting and squandering this opportunity? This is a landslide. This is an epic landslide. It's a cakewalk if you just don't screw it up. And he's doing everything he can to screw it up, partnering up with all the wrong people, all the rhinos. So yeah, tell us though, what is this about? MTG got in Boebert's face and had some choice words for her on the Senate or on the congressional floor.
Because they're fighting over how to impeach Biden and who gets the credit here. So Marjorie Taylor Greene calls Lauren Boebert a little bitch on the House floor. Feud between the MAGA darlings gets petty after copycat plans to impeach Biden. So two of the most notorious far-right Republicans in Congress brought their ongoing feud into the public Wednesday with a messy argument on the House floor where curse words were apparently exchanged. So, yeah, MTG called Boebert a little bitch in a heated exchange.
By the way, I just want to add this. I talk about this a lot. When you can find tells, like in poker, when you watch that movie with Matt Damon, Rounders, and it's like when you have grandma with the Oreos, and if they snap a certain way, it's a tell that it's about to be bad. It's just for whatever. It's funny for the movie. But, I say there's a lot of tells. When people say the word conspiracy theorist, I pretty much tune out and realize that they're an NPC. If they're repeating these things that are just ridiculous to say, and they think it's like a haha, gotcha. Whenever I see far right, no, I think there's right. And then aside from that, if you're considered a Republican, but you're not on the right, you're a rhino. You're a Republican in name only. You're a big government unipartyist. You're not on the right. So to say something is far right, it's like, no, that's what right is. The pretend Republicans, the Mitt Romneys, the Mitch McConnells, these people are not right. So the people that are actually right are not far right. So that's another one of these growing lists of phrases that I tend to tune people out. It's a tell they're intellectually dishonest to say things like far right or conspiracy theorist. They love it. They think it's like, gotcha. I got those far right snowflakes getting upset over my words. It's like, no, you're just proving yourself to be dumb. But anyway, it's a finer point, right, but it's something we talk about all the time on this show.
Right. And to which I've created my own little political spectrum here.
Oh, goodness.
This three-dimensional.
Is like the diversity flag, isn't it? Are you making a flag out of this?
No, it's very colorful. I had a little fun with this one, but just trying to. A lot of people get stuck in the two-dimensional way of thinking, left and right. But yeah, a lot of the people that are, the Democrats now have gone so far to the left, they think that everybody to the right of them is somehow far right, even though a lot of them are still in the left side of the spectrum. When you put say the Joe Rogans or the Jimmy Dores or the Glenn Greenwalds or the Russell Brands and people like me, and that are kind of left-leaning people that they think everybody's far right, even though MTG and Boebert would just be, I think slightly to the right, more libertarian, Republican, Tea Party, kind of in that range. But to say that they're extremists is not really fair. But
Dr. Jekyll says he moves further to the right every day. He's balancing on the edge and about to fall off. Yeah, I mean, if there's ever been a time to get pushed away from like the normal middle over to the right, don't ever say far right. Don't say it's a Wuhan lab leak. It's a potentially intentional Wuhan lab release. Just we got to be specific in our words. But yeah, I mean, day to day, all this craziness coming from Washington and the lying legacy media and the teachers unions, what have you. It's just it pushes so many people away from left, center right. It just pushes people to the right. I completely agree with Dr. Jekyll. This has gone way too far. The adults have got to kind of get back in charge of the classroom at this point. It's the inmates running the asylum. It's crazy town. And some punishment really needs to be doled out here. So yeah, I mean, I guess what they're just battling for glory, right? They're saying you're a little bitch because I put in for the impeachment first, and she's like, well, I did second. Like that's all they're yapping
Pretty
about.
much. Green was apparently peeved that Boebert also introduced articles of impeachment against Biden, saying in response to the public feud with Boebert that imitation is the greatest form of flattery. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So a little cat fight on the floor of the House, making things a little exciting. But yeah, we got to get those articles of impeachment out, and that's yeah. Anyway, so that happened, and also to follow up, unfortunately, here's the breaking news: 5 crew on board the Titan sub I have now been confirmed dead, as you can see on the top of the screen. So sad to see. Hopefully, they didn't suffer in their little expedition for the Titanic.
So, yeah, and you know, any sort of exploration, space, maritime, you know, anything naval, anything subterranean, anything under the like any sort of exploration is dangerous.
Yeah, especially outer space or under the sea because of the enormous pressure out there.
So we are, you know, we're a species that pushes the boundaries, but sometimes to those ends, I suppose. All right, next topic here.
We're about 10 minutes, so it's about lightning round here. All right.
Agree or disagree that leftists are afraid to debate because they know they'll lose?
Yes, I am 100% going to agree, especially after this Dr. Peter Hotez is still continuing to back down. In fact, I got a couple of things I have to post about that. I was trolling some of these people. Oh, speaking of Adam Schiff, here's an interesting picture with Ed Buck, who's now in jail with his little hand around Ted Lieu, all these Democrat hacks. Some going on there, probably, but not getting too distracted. But here we go. Here's Peter Hotez, still trying to go after Joe Rogan, wants a scientist to debate a vaccine denier. Turning him down was the right thing to do. They're trying to justify and spin this stuff because they're scared to fight. So I got back-to-back Jim Carrey memes here. You are like a sissy girl. And then I called out notorious hack Aaron Rupar, who used to work for Vox, who's saying, oh, debate me has become a bad faith propaganda tool for the right, designed to legitimize lies and target critics for harassment. It's ripped from the right's free speech playbook, which demands bad actors get access to all platforms and audiences, to which I just said, hey, you know, translation is leftists are scared to debate. And you know what? I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to debate either if I had to take their positions because they're losing positions. They know it. And they have a lot to lose. Oh, let me call it out. Here's Peter Hotez. There's another one where I trolled him. And he says that Rogan wants a debate. That's just the problem. And I said that would be a problem for you and Fauci, Big Pharma, MSM, WHO, CDC, everybody who pushed experimental vaccines. Duck the debate, but the truth will come out. Either way, you're probably going to be on the wrong side of history. And so he knows. He's a shill for Big Pharma, and he doesn't want to get called out. They could be sued into oblivion. The people are going to know, and he's got everything to lose. Yeah, he could raise a couple million for charity, but once he gets exposed and his credibility is destroyed, and then they're going to start going after the mainstream media and everybody else. Yeah, it's going to be a problem. So they're losing. If they had the facts on their side, they'd be happy to debate and you know, show everybody what's up. But he knows, it's especially going into a debate with RFK, who's a pretty smart guy, knows his shit.
So are we allowed to say that it's experimental medicine, Blake? Are we allowed to say that? Because you can visit
CISA.gov/mRNA. Yeah. mRNA is a cool technology, but it's in the beginning. There's a lot to to work out with that kind of stuff, whether it's even going to work someday.
Yeah, but it's just a matter of what will they allow us to talk about? Is that a topic we're allowed to talk about? So there you go. Go to CISA, whatever.
Right. Well, I've been punished for it in the past, but I think they pulled that.
All right. Next topic, Blake.
Yes.
Do you agree or disagree that BlackRock should be broken up and banned from politicians?
Absolutely. Way too much money, way too much power. Phenomenal job by James O'Keefe and crew to do this expose where they got this BlackRock stooge. I don't know if the second part's come out yet. I know he's going to get confronted by James in a restaurant, and then he's going to go running to a police station. This guy, let's see if I can pull up this quick story, because this is fabulous journalism, and people need to go check this out. This is absolutely huge. Brian, we've been talking about this stuff for years. Like, this is, hypothetical. This is probably what's happening, is you have all these big money interests, special interests that are buying off politicians. And this guy candidly says, yeah, that's pretty much what they're doing. Decide people's fate. They can buy up anybody they want. And this is how things get done in Washington. It says these senators, they're cheap. You got 10 grand, you can buy a senator. So it's great to finally kind of get, vindicated in some way, showing that this is the way things are. And hopefully we'll see more of this. And yeah, if we could break these companies up. It's just, it really disgusts me the way that they get, these big hedge funds and stuff just make money trading on things, and including the glorifying how war is good for business with things going on in Ukraine, and they're busy trading. The price of wheat's going up, so they got people shoving in with leverage, buying up wheat futures or what have you, making a ton of money and then selling it. So this is a way a lot of these people make money, and then they go and they use that to bribe politicians to take whatever standpoints on the issues that they want. So they've been controlling pulling the puppet strings for a long time. It's not just BlackRock, but they are one of the biggest corporations out there.
But it's nice to see them front and center now. We didn't know this name a couple of years ago. Now it's kind of, you try to figure out at the root of all the problems with this ESG bullying tactics, these efforts to silence and marginalize good people while they try to ram through as much of the looting that they can accomplish so that they can earn as much money as possible. And, it's threats, it's nudging people through policy. It's, like they said, they're bragging about it. 10,000, give me 10K and I'll be able to put a senator in your pocket. And here's how you buy the system and get a bunch of awful ideas passed. And, maybe they think they're glorious. Maybe they think they have the angels on their side and they're the good guys, or they're just money hungry. I'm not entirely certain what it is, but it's good to have them on the radar. I'm really happy to see that they are being targeted to be called out and investigated and, hopefully broken up, because they're too influential in potentially shady and suspicious ways. So any final thought on this?
That'll do it for now.
Okay. Hunter Biden, agree or disagree? He was unfairly removed from a high-end sex club.
It's kind of an oddly phrased question, but I did write that because I don't know how else to frame an agree to disagree around this. This was a recent breaking story, and I'm shocked it's actually covered in the LA Times. So here's what I have found out. So this is tweeted out by Amuse, saying Hunter Biden allegedly paid $75,000 per year for membership in the SNCTM sex club, according to the club's founder, revealing the name
Sanctum? Sanctum?
Yeah, good call, Brian. That's Sanctum without the vowels. So it's kind of like Fight Club, not allowed to talk about it. And revealing the name of a member is a serious violation of the club's rules, and as a result, the founder has been removed. So this, again, shocking. So LA Times, Sanctum Sex Club founder banned after naming Hunter Biden as a former member. But that's what I'm just blown away by. So I guess after like one, he only saw him once. So let me quick get into this. Damon Launer, the founder of Sanctum, has been banned from his own club. So let's see if I can find this. Spokesperson said Launer had no affiliation since 2019 when he sold the club for $1 million. He said he founded it after watching the Tom Cruise movie Eyes Wide Shut, which features the scenes in which wealthy elites gather at a secret orgy, and they had a curated guest list, membership fees up to $75,000 a year. And so they had a bunch of Hollywood elites, perhaps. We're not allowed to name names. That's just the way that it worked, just like the movie. But he says Hunter was a member of Sanctum, and he says he canceled his membership at one party because he's a scumbag. So imagine Hunter Biden shows up, pays $75 so he can be part of your club. And he's so obnoxious and such a god-awful scumbag that you're like, no way, even though he's the VP's son or president's son, what have you, and has the money, they still said, no, you can't even be a weird exclusive orgy thing. And so
they kicked him out.
Yeah. But then since the guy broke the rules by saying Hunter Biden was there, he himself got tossed.
Wow. So, this is, yeah, we could unpack a lot here.
Yeah, we just don't have a lot of time. This is a breaking story. So, but yeah, this is the real life, Eyes Wide Shut. Hunter Biden was part of it, and he was kicked out. And the founder was kicked out for mentioning his name.
Love it. Final story, Blake. Should we keep trans athletes in sports because women are equal to men? Do you agree or disagree?
I am going to, how do we phrase that? Keep trans athletes because women are, no, disagree. So this backfired pretty badly. So Miss Riley Gaines, she's been very vocal because she has lost swimming competitions against Leah Thomas, who is a trans athlete. And so she's been fighting for women to keep women just exclusively in women's sports. So I guess one of the people called her out, saying that Serena Williams. So here, let's roll a tape from this testimony here. Devastating rebuttal from Riley Gaines. LGBTQ activists asserted that men struggle to beat Serena and Venus Williams. But Gaines had the receipts. So let's check this out.
How many female members of the NBA do you see?
Well, I can say that, there's been this news article about men that think that they could beat Serena Williams in tennis, right? That they think that they could actually score a point on.
By the way, pause right there. Anybody that says right in the middle of their point, right? It's such a disingenuous way to try to pretend and you're on to the next topic before you can Anybody that does that, I instantly suspect them of malicious intent as well. Please continue. Sorry.
Sure.
And it's just not the case. She is stronger than that.
What's your experience, Ben? Male, female?
Both Serena and Venus lost to the 203rd ranked male tennis player, which they're phenoms for women.
Okay, so that got shot down on the big fact check, and this is absolutely serious. So that
couldn't have been teed up any better because that's accurate.
Right, and this is funny because Serena even agrees. This is old video talking about this. So here we go.
He was been joking about myself and him playing a match, and I'm like, Andy, seriously, like, are you kidding me? Because for me, men's tennis and women's tennis are completely almost two separate.
So it's not even true, and they are the absolute phenomenal tennis players, world-class champions. Can't say enough good things about them, but men are just physically stronger and faster than women, and it's not fair. And they did both lost to the 203rd ranked male tennis player. Let's see if I can. Here it is. Fact check true, and this is where it came from. And so the argument is lost. So that's Riley Gaines made her point. So
yeah, it's simple. Any woman can compete with any men's group if they think they have what it takes. The opposite should never be happening. Never.
Absolutely.
You got to keep them separate. Like Offspring said, you got to keep them separated. Blake, we're going to get separated now because you have somewhere to run to. Tell people where to follow you, sir.
Twitter, TV's Blake Walley, or thenextlevelnews.com for the archive. Thank you so much. Great to see everybody. Dr. Jack and Jody and whoever is watching this or lurking, or you know who you are. Love you all. Thank you, Brian. Great job. Sorry for the shortened show. Got things to do, but we'll be back next week for sure. So have a great one.
Absolutely. To be continued. Thank you, Blake. And yes, for anybody out there, here's where you follow the New American Media. Go on Twitter. We're at American_media_. On Instagram, the New American Media, and then TNAM, TNAM official. I think there's dots in between the TNAM official. Telegram, TNAM chat. I believe it's periods in between TNAM, TNAM chat, and TNAM official. YouTube.com/the New American Media. Truth Social, the New American Media. Spotify, the Agree to Disagree Show. Rumble, the New American Media. You know, we're in all the places. Signal, Dust. Yeah, we're in a couple of places. Good day. God bless. Stay savage, everyone, says Dr. Jekyll. Thank you very much. And he also adds that he'd kick Hunter Biden out of his morgue if he kicked the bucket. Oh, goodness. Yeah, that's that story about the eyes wide shut Hunter Biden. This is going to get so interesting. I will. Yeah, I'm very curious to see where this goes. But if these stories are coming out in the Los Angeles media, I think it's pretty obvious that Gavin Newsom is going to take over. They're going to throw Hunter under the bus. I think they just left Joe in there long enough to make sure that he gets his plea deal, his pardon, that he walks away scot-free. And there's no way that Joe Biden's going to run. I think it's going to be Gavin Newsom, and it's going to be Gavin Newsom up against RFK. That's my hunch. We'll see how it plays out. But yeah, this Hunter Biden mess, if this is finally coming out now, like they've been, what did they say? 50 intelligence officials said had all the classic earmarks of Russian disinformation. They are known liars. They framed President Trump. President Trump was framed. That's who these Democrats are. Hillary Clinton, Fusion GPS, Perkins Coie, Barack Obama, the intelligence agencies, legacy media, lying legacy media. The Democrat Party, they're all complicit in a coup attempt to overthrow the duly elected president of the United States, Donald Trump. 6 years going, 6 years of this stuff. So we'll see. But I would just, my gut instinct tells me that if they're throwing Hunter under the bus and these stories are coming out, it's a done deal that Joe is out. Let's just see if the demonic puppet masters up his backside decide to martyr him on his way out the door. I would like to see him impeached immediately for dereliction of duty, amongst other things, as we push headfirst into a potential nuclear World War III and an undeclared war in Ukraine after the deep state and the Democrat Party has been trying to pin the tail on Russia for 6-7 years now. Oh, Trump, he's a Russian agent. Oh, Trump, it's Russian disinformation. Oh, it's Russian election interference. Yeah, they're just trying to screw Russia because Barack Obama and Joe Biden overthrew the government of Ukraine years ago, and they had this in mind the whole time. So it's all coming out. It's all obviously happening. So kudos to both Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene for making it happen. I don't care who gets the credit. You both need to be pushing for different reasons. Put impeachment votes out there for multiple reasons. There's got to be at least 20 ways that you could frame this. Put 20 impeachment votes to the table. They've earned it. And there needs to be retribution. There needs to be some sort of punishment, or else you're giving a green light for more of this stuff to happen in the future. And if we're going to try to get better as a species, we need to stop this type of stuff, especially the obvious part of this stuff. Yeah, Dr. Jekyll bringing up this whole situation with China, allegedly or done deal, building, cutting a deal. It's a done deal, a military base in Cuba. This is Bay of Pigs all over again. You know, we got an RFK, we got a Kennedy back in the news, we got Cuba in the headlines right off the coast of Florida. Dr. Jekyll saying he hopes RFK can win the Democratic primary. He'd still vote Trump, but he wouldn't complain if he lost to Kennedy. I would complain. This is time for President Trump to get his well-deserved second term rather. I got involved in a conversation, a debate the other day, and once again, it was, this leftist site, and they're like, well, when was America ever great? And that's like a reverse dog whistle. They're like trying to get you to say something. They say, ha ha, see, things were never good in this country. America's awful. I don't believe that. I believe that America had policies in place that were not great, that were bad. And America has gone to great lengths to correct the way we used to be. And in 2023, it's kind of a great time, except for the leadership right now. So when was America great? I'd say maybe the first 2 years of the Donald Trump presidency. Things were going well. The economy was booming. We were dialing back wars. We were kind of rebuilding the stuff that needed to be rebuilt. We were kind of on the right track, and we had a good spokesperson that was 80% on track with most of the key issues. That was a pretty good time. A pretty good time in this country prior to that bioweapon being released from Wuhan, China, intentionally or accidentally. So that would be a good time to go back to. So I think this is time for America to go back and get some real leadership on the national stage. I mean, we're asleep at the switch. This is Weekend at Bernie's. Joe Biden is I mean, you can see the fingers moving behind Biden's eyeballs with Barack Obama's hand up his backside, calling the shots in the earpiece, telling him what to say. It's like an episode of Impractical Jokers, where they're kind of sitting in a back room. Now say this. Now say this. Some of the most ridiculous stuff they put on the teleprompter for that Joe Biden character to talk about. I just feel like Barack Obama and his buddies are laughing, saying, "Can you believe I got him to say that?" But anyway, Jekyll agrees, says I agree, but if it had to be a Democrat, I'm good with RFK. Well, I know, I get that. I take your point. And yes, let's impeach Biden for all of the well-deserved stuff. Let's jail him for the rest of his miserable life. He's earned it. Treason, sedition, bribery, blackmail. It's everything you could imagine, everything the Democrats have deflected, everything they've tried to say the Republicans are up to. It's everything they've been up to. And I'm really happy to see, James O'Keefe coming out with Project Veritas, talking about BlackRock being able to put Congress people into their pocket for 10 grand. I mean, like we have to address this stuff. The one thing about President Trump is that I for maybe the first time in my life, maybe back to Reagan, it seemed like you had a CEO of our country. Somebody that actually gave a shit about this place, about this country. Make America first. Yeah, I mean, why would you do it any other way? On any airplane, they say oxygen first. In the event of blah, 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 be sure to put on your own face mask before you attempt to help your neighbors. We can be kind and compassionate to Canada and Mexico all we want, after we take care of ourselves. There's nothing bad about this, but this awful media and the awful Democrat Party and the awful teachers unions and the awful censorship from the little tech underlords and the awful deep state involvement in this has really taken us off track. And it's a shame to see so much happening that makes it completely obvious, at least to me, that there are true enemies of the American government, the American experience, the American country, foreign and domestic, plenty domestic. I couldn't believe hearing that they were chanting shame, shame, shame. I thought that was the Republicans saying that about Adam Schiff, who clearly deserves everything coming to him legally and legally. Those were the Democrats saying shame to the Republicans for calling out 6 years of lies and framing the sitting president of the United States. There is nothing these people will not do, which is why they must be opposed so vehemently, which is why we must use our voices while we have them, which is why we must link up, join us in all of the platforms where we exist with the new American media, because the old American media has failed. And there you go. I mean, John Durham. I mean, did we really cover the Durham drop today? I mean, some? No? Not really? I mean, we know what it was. Fusion GPS, Perkins Coie, Hillary Clinton, the Democrat Party paid for a fake dossier, creating a fake report, to create a fake FISA warrant to spy on the candidate to become president and then to keep it going when he was president. I mean, this is Watergate times a million. Impeach immediately. Barack Obama and the intelligence agency officials that greenlit this need to be dragged in front of a court. They need to face repercussions for their crimes, or else we don't have a country. And if we don't have a country, where are we? Because I mean, this deep state thing, it doesn't really go both ways. It's not like, yeah, they're kind of on this side, they're kind of on that, like the Supreme Court. It's like, well, you know, they're kind of this way on some things and kind of this way on some others. It's like, no, this is all globalist. This is all the Uniparty. This is all the Democrat Party. The rhinos, the people who are participating in these activities, they're anti-American. They're participating in the overthrow of who we elect. These are traitors. These are criminals. So may we live in interesting times, my friends. May we live in interesting times. Yes, their debauchery knows no bounds. They do not. And they don't try to hide anything anymore. It's blatantly in our faces. And the alphabet agencies have been weaponized against the USA. So now that we know it, let's put an adult back in charge and let's root it out. I think there's plenty of space for intelligence agencies to continue operating as long as they're respecting the Bill of Rights, our Constitution, and that they're pro-America. If they're bought and paid for, if they're just corporate shills, where, you know, war is big money, so we're going to support it. That does not accurately reflect who we are as a nation. So let's see where this all plays out. So for now, I'm going to press pause and let you all go. I appreciate each and every one of you for listening today on the New American Media, the Agree to Disagree show, this Thursday, June 22nd, 2023. Really, just condolences and prayers to the people involved in this undersea implosion. And as you look into the person behind this, what lessons can we learn? There really is a diversity hire component to that. And this is, you know, the direction that some people in the United States have found fashionable lately. Tribal politics, divisive tribal politics. And this guy seemed to be a part of it, and he didn't care as much about the things he should have cared about. And he was prioritizing the wrong stuff, which is why the ESG is all out of whack. The Supreme Court's getting ready to rule on some what's the phrase? The heck is the phrase? It's like where you give preferential treatment through the admissions in the colleges. What the heck? Not diversity. What is the name of that phrase? Help me out, somebody. What is the name of that? But the Supreme Court is going to be ruling on it. I mean, as they should, when people are being discriminated upon because of their genetic makeup. This is an anti-American practice. So when you see this head of the submarine company saying, well, we're not going to hire any 50-year-old white males, they're non-inspiring. Okay. Well, you know, I mean, number one, that's racist. And number two, your thing just exploded. Maybe if you had more competent people around you, this wouldn't have happened. That's not to say that white people are more competent. It's just to say that if you're going to exclude a certain group of people out of your stupid, selfish, racist dogma that you've bought into, it's not equity. It's not equity. Hang on, I'm going to look it up because it's bugging me. Let's see, Supreme Court upcoming. What is the name of it? Upcoming rulings. 2023. What are the cases? Students for fair admissions. Is that the one? President of Harvard College. Maybe that's the one. Anyway. Yeah. Giving preferential treatment. Yeah. CRT, systemic racism. What is the name of the policy? That's our question of the day. I can't think of it. Michigan sued for it because they were, and I think this is a group of Asian students that said they were being unfairly demoted instead of. Yeah, I know there's too many names to keep up with nowadays. I'm gonna press pause. Type in the comments. You know what I'm talking about. It's bugging me. I'm going to think of it as soon as I end the stream. But anyway, you're right. There's too many names to keep up with nowadays. And maybe that's how they want us, confused in our language. So to be clear in my language, I appreciate you all for joining us today. I love you, and we'll talk again soon.